get into the prom of it all. Kail Lowry, former star of MTV's Teen Mom 2, accompanied her son Isaac off to prom. And so there he is, all spiffy in his blue suit. I really love this suit that he's wearing. Here's another photo of him, but this time accompanied by his younger brother, Lincoln. Super, super cute. And mind you, they did talk about it on this week's episode of that like Frenemies podcast that she does with Becky. Basically what happened is that Becky decided to come back into town. Her wife was working nights. And so she said, let me go into Delaware, see what's up, help them pick out Isaac's prom suit. And so they did a lot of shopping. They found the perfect suit for him. Everybody was really happy. Kail found some suits for herself for other occasions that she's going to be going off to and whatnot. And, I just want to let you guys know that there are photos circulating of Isaac and his date online, and I have seen them. However, because they were not shared by Kail or, even on Isaac's Instagram, I'm not going to share them here on my platform, but I saw them and I thought they were really cute. And I really hope that the two of them had a great time. What I can tell you though, because Kail did mention it on the podcast, was that the date is the one who asked Isaac. That was the one who did the promposal. So I think that was really sweet that he got asked. He got his little promposal and whatnot. And then Becky had a little bit of a comment to make just to, because this is something that had been going around online already, which is that Kail kind of flaked on the baby shower. But it was for good reason. Basically, Kail RSVP'd yes before realizing that actually, wait a minute, Isaac had his debate competition and also prom on the same day. So it just was not going to be possible for her to leave the state to head over there for the baby shower. Okay, you guys. So just a little bit of an update on that. Mims, I was thinking about you. I wanted to DM you because I was like, wait a minute, was he not supposed to be in Paris at some point? When are you coming through? So nice to see you. A drug addict going through withdrawals with no hair dye. Damn. He never, ever holds back. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to see you, boo. When are you coming to Paris? I've been waiting for you. Like, come on now. You only got a couple of weeks before I get out of here for the month. I'm not going to be here for the month of June. Let me see what some of y'all. And by the way, he was referring to Diddy, right? When we were talking about how Diddy completely changed from what he typically looked like. So these days he is like half the weight he was here. Hair is gray, beard is gray, teeth are yellow. So that's what Mim says when he's a rug addict going through withdrawals with no hair dye. Bunny has an update. 2 prospective jurors are in trouble because one juror called the wife. What do you mean called the wife? Like insulted the wife or something like that? Damn. And you know what, Shelby, you're right too. Don't forget the car exploding, right? There's an awful lot of stuff associated with this guy. So I'm not surprised that people are cautious about getting involved in this because listen, we all know he's got goons, right? So you do want to be careful. Acacia says, I wonder who released all his prom pics on TikTok. These kids have no privacy. Sad. I know. I was really disappointed to see that as well. I hope that he got a lot of positive comments in regards to his prom stuff. But listen, I've been on the internet long enough to know there are a lot of crazy people out there and that he probably got a lot of hate for his prom date and whatnot. And I'm just really, really sad about that. I wish that people would have respected his privacy. But to be honest with you, I think that because they're all kids and they're all on social media, they like his friends probably, maybe even his date, they shared these photos, right? But I don't know. I feel like if he doesn't share it on his official, and his mom doesn't share it on her official, it's best to just not circulate those images, right? Not that there's anything wrong with any of it, but just for that reason. Make It Mim says, my trip to Morocco, oh no, got canceled. I was going to stop in Paris while I was en route. So sorry to hear that. Morocco is so beautiful too. I hope you get to make it there another time, maybe later this year, maybe next year, who knows? But I'm really looking forward to seeing you, Mims. I was so excited too. Oh my goodness. Sweet bonjour. That was a handsome. Yes, he was super, super, super duper handsome. They made a really beautiful couple. Vinny says, did you see Lindsay's comment on Kail's post about prom? No, I didn't. What did she say? Spill that tea, please, Minnie. Let me bookmark this comment so that I know to come back. Oh, Michelle, you see, this is how I know you're a good person, right? Because to a normal good person like you do not see anything to hate on. But there are a lot of very very like not normal, not nice people on the internet. So, the sex of his date, the race of his date, these sorts of things are the things that people, unfortunately, still in 2025 find the time, find the energy, find the motivation to hate on. And so, yeah, very, very, very sad stuff. And so now just another quick comment back to the Diddy of it all. Thank you so much, by the way, Bunny, for this update. Bunny says jurors are not allowed to talk about the case. The jurors knew each other. Oh, okay, there it is. One couldn't wait to tell her friend. The husband is also on the case. The husband wasn't allowed to check his phone. So can you imagine that? You're so excited to be a part of history, right? With this case. It sounded like this person actually wanted to be involved in everything. But unfortunately, because she's a little bit of a blabbermouth, she's cheated herself out of the opportunity and is now eliminated from the jury pool. You got to be careful. You cannot share too damn much. Very disappointing for her. I know she's kicking herself. Minnie says she just, and thanks, by the way, Bunny, for that update. Minnie says she just said proud of him, and I don't like that comment given the fact that pictures weren't shared by them. Ooh, listen, I hope that, you know what, I'm not even going to go there. I'm happy that like she at least shared some verbal support, but it does seem kind of dry, not even an emoji, like, all these sorts of things. All right, Lindsay. All right. We'll keep one good eye on you, girl. We'll keep one good eye on you. Now, you guys, we're still not done with the Teen Mom news. We actually have quite a bit today in today's morning report before we round things up with a recap of the Valley. So I think, was it you, Tadisha, or is it you, Allie? I think it was Allie who said that she was late today because she was wrapping up the Valley. Listen, you know what? T'as bien fait. You did well to do that because we're going to get into the Valley after this last story from Teen Mom. Okay, you guys. So basically, Amber is yet again claiming that she has walked away, retired from Teen Mom Next Chapter. Whether or not this is true remains to be seen because she's been pulling this for years, and yet she still comes back year after year. I personally think that at this point, her storyline is done. Her daughter wants no contact with her. She can't see her son either. He's in a different state. And so what is there to film about? And in my opinion, it is not healthy to constantly be putting Leah in positions to be ambushed by adults who she doesn't even really know like that, answering questions about her trauma surrounding her mother. So I really hope that for Leah's sake, they do, kind of just cut them as a segment at this point moving forward. If they're not interested in just focusing on Gary as a father in a blended family, I think it's enough. Like, unfortunately, Leah has been ambushed like 3-4 times this season, a couple of times last season as well. She's also been forced to have interactions with Amber just for the cameras against her will. And so at this point, like, I'm hoping that it's over, to be honest with you guys. Another thing that I saw about Amber was that, do you guys remember the Nickelodeon documentary Quiet on Set, and how that spoke about Dan Schneider and his alleged abuses of the child stars and some of the other people in positions of power in Hollywood and especially Nickelodeon, right? Well, Amber, when she was doing one of her TikTok live meltdowns, she kind of mentioned that she was approached to be, featured on that. She's got years and years worth of photos, videos, and audio tapes that would incriminate people. So my conclusion from seeing that was that Amber was essentially implying that the people on Teen Mom, right, whether it's producers or what have you, they were acting inappropriately with these youngsters, is what she's claiming. Whether it's herself, whether it's other people, I do not know. But I do find that to be a little bit like, I hope you're not lying, right? Wait, here's the thing. First of all, I hope it's not true, because I would hate to hear about anything having happened to any of them, right? Second of all, I would hate also that you would lie about something like this and to shed that kind of, bad light on people, that you work with and whatnot. Like, that's not fair to people, right? So very, very weird stuff. I'm not sure what to even say, to be honest with you guys, because I don't get it, right? I really do not understand Amber at all. So I'm just going to leave that at that. That was something that she mentioned during her rant. I just wanted to let you guys know. And thank you so much, Tyrell, my fellow Canadian girlie. So nice to have you here. Hey, Cammie, so nice to see you, boo. Good morning, sunshine. Indeed. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, you guys, I think I did have another update, actually. And you know what I'm thinking? I actually have to plug in my phone. It's going to die. So give me a second. You know what? We're about to do a quick little break, okay? And then I'm gonna plug in my phone before it dies. I have to like run right after this. I'm gonna do Aikido with my friend. So I really need to make sure that it's charged by the time I get out of here. So if you, I'm going to do a word from some of our sponsors. And then on the flip side, we're going to continue with Leah talking about wanting to get adopted by Christina and more, including a recap of the Valley. Okay, you guys, we are back. My phone is plugged in and I am ready to talk about the Leah of it all. By the way, good morning, Shem. So glad you're here, boo. So basically, do you remember how on this season of the show, one of the storylines was how Leah wanted to be adopted by Christina, right? And so now they're worried that Amber would come between that just to, you know, really just to act like she's like the best mom and, you know, like she wants to be involved and whatnot. So it seems as though Leah's new plan is just to wait until she's 18, which is soon, right? So just a little bit of a heads up on that. So let's get into that. So Gary and Leah did an interview with People magazine in which they talked about some of the fans of the show and what's going on in their lives. And so Gary says that he's got people messaging him saying, and I quote, "You need to be nicer to Amber. Leah needs to forgive her mom. It's not Amber's fault. You guys," that sort of thing, right? And so he says, listen, I need you guys to remember that, first of all, this is a show. You do not actually know us. You do not know the full extent of what's going on in our family dynamics, okay? So let me just set the scene there, right? And on top of that, we, myself and Leah, have been trying for several years to have a relationship, but when someone else isn't putting the time and effort, at a certain point, you got to throw up your hands, right? So he also continued on to say, and I quote, "I get where people are coming from, and they're not the majority. They might just be in a similar situation, i.e. they might be like the kind of like the deadbeats in their situation, and that's why they overly identify with Amber." And so she says, so he says, like, I get that side of it, but don't forget, you guys, it's just a show. And just so you know, we do have a lot of very positive interactions that you have not seen on that show, right? And then Leah, when it came to her time to talk about what's going on in her life and whatnot, she says, and I quote, "Seeing my dad," right? "My dad and Amber." So there you go. She still cannot bring herself to refer to this woman as her mom, right? And it's heartbreaking on one hand because, you know, you remember the young Leah who really, really loved Amber and was calling her mommy and would follow her to the bathroom because she didn't know the next time she would be seeing this woman. Like she just wanted to have that attachment, that bond. And now it's completely dead, right? Like, wow. So anyway, seeing them go through their journey can be embarrassing because they've had a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs from what I've seen. It's weird to see what they were like at my age when they had a completely different life and were just starting off on TV. For me, having my life captured on TV has been a blessing. I like being able to share my story and help other people who have gone through some of the things I've been through. I'm looking forward to prom and finishing up school in the next couple years and starting to work on my career in nursing. I'm also excited to get officially adopted in the upcoming year or so. So there you go, you guys. So Isaac is off to prom, right? Leah's next. All of these kids, they're coming up prom, meaning they're what, 17, 18, which means that Leah, she knows, Gary knows, Christina knows that Amber would just try to take the piss out of this adoption thing. So they want to do it in a way and at a time where Amber cannot interfere because it would be an adult adoption, right? And so I'm really happy for them that they still want to go ahead and go through with this. I love their beautiful, adorable little family and whatnot. And so I definitely wish them nothing but the best. And I really, really hope that everything turns out well for them. Camry says, I hope Christina does adopt her when she's 18. Adult adoption is a real thing. It sure is. Did y'all ever watch that like weird show, by the way? This is nothing like to do with that dynamic, but there was a show, it was kind of odd. It was on TLC and it was specifically about like adults being adopted by other adults and whatnot. Like some of the stories were like harrowing. Some of them were like, oh, what's really going on here, right? But it was a very, very interesting show. And yeah, I think that this is ultimately going to go through, and I'm really, really excited for them about that. Once again, hey, Shem, nice to see you. Jaleesa says, Amber is full of ish, and I completely agree. Leah, watch the rest of these kids will be telling their stories, especially Jace. I agree. And I'm so happy that they get to, right, in a way that is unfiltered and raw and authentic to them. We already already saw Leah drag Amber on the most recent episode of Next Chapter. She said she was an attention seeker. She was mean. She was the problem in all her relationships, but too effed up to see it. Like, she went in on that woman. And I think that this is just the beginning. And you know what? I think she's so pretty, you know, like seeing all of the kids together, they were all absolutely gorgeous. And I just love the way that, they were all dressed as kids and everything like that. And it was so, so sweet and so cute. And you're right. She and her dad have the same kind of like resting expression. And it's always so cute when you're able to pick up kind of like the similarities between the parents and their children and whatnot. And hey, Misha, my Ottawa girl, so nice to see you. And thanks for becoming a member. It is so nice to have you. I hope you enjoyed the videos I put out there yesterday. So my members yesterday, I read chapter 9 of Caitlin and Tyler's book. We're almost done. I think chapter 10 is the final one. And then we also got into Miss Tina's book and how she was the original Beyonce before there was Beyonce. And it was so, so good. Tyrell says, sadly, first 3 years are most important. Yep. And Amber and Janelle screwed up their kids at that age. My heart breaks for the kids. Now they are traumatized. Amber and Janelle can kid themselves, but that's what it is, all for show. They are pathetic excuses for parents. And it's so devastating to imagine that, right? That, you know, so many years of Leah's life have been so beautiful and going so right and everything. But and this is the same for like a Bentley. This is the same for like a Jace, right? For Bentley, it's the father wound, right? But just that thing, like there's this kind of like hole there. And it's just really, really sad. Gail says, poor Leah, I really hope that her and Christina can really adopt her, because that's what Leah really wants. She said she hasn't seen her mom for over 9 months now. Insane. That's a long time to not see your daughter, right? And I completely agree. In fact, Amber was like kind of like being incredulous about that on the TikTok. She was saying, oh, well, the only reason I haven't seen her is because she blocked me or something like that. Like there's always some kind of excuse with her. In the past, when she hadn't seen her daughter in a long stretches of time, before her daughter even had a phone to block her with, it was, oh, I'm in a relationship. Oh, I'm going through a breakup. Oh, I'm sad. I can't be bothered. This sort of, it's always some kind of an excuse.